Hi, so today I'm outside enjoying my breakfast. I have papaya, so I finished off the other half of the papaya and I'm just finishing this up, and it's really good. If you never had papaya before, they kind of smell bad, so don't be too freaked out. If you get one and you cut it open and it smells stinky. So this is what the outside should look. It should look nice and yellow. It shouldn't be green, and usually they're a little soft when they're ripe. So this one wasn't really quite soft, so I was concerned that it wasn't going to be ripe, but I cut it open and it is nice and juicy. So, and it has its own unique taste. It's not like anything else. I love it. It's very delicious. It's very cleansing. Makes you feel really great. So today I'm trying to do raw till 4, trying to get back into the high carb lifestyle. I'm still always plant-based and always vegan, but I've been eating a lot more fats in my diet than is good for my training. So in today's video I wanted to talk to you about living with non-vegans. So this summer I have been living in New England with my parents for a couple weeks. I have the summer off from work, so I'm here visiting, and my parents are not vegan, and they also live on a farm, so they raise animals which are intended to be eaten. So that definitely conflicts with my personal views, but I do love my parents. I still want to visit them, so I'm still spending time here with them and coexisting. So, and then I also spent time with my boyfriend, who's also not vegan. So there's 6 tips that I came up with to help make it easier for you if you have a roommate, or maybe your family, or you're just going on a trip to go visit someone that you're close with who is not vegan. Because there's many other aspects of our lives than just our diet or our ethical viewpoints. So just because you have friends or family who are not vegan does not mean that you don't have to coexist with them. Everyone has different views, so I'm not telling you need to do this, but just making a suggestion, because I know that my life would be very lonely if I excluded all of the people who are not vegan. So my first tip is don't be super pushy with people when you decide to become vegan or you are going to live with someone who is not vegan. So what I mean by this is when I first became vegan, I was very pushy and I was reading a lot of books, and so every time I would read a new chapter and learn some new facts about maybe the dairy industry and how it's related to the veal industry, I would immediately assume that by telling people that the dairy industry is directly related to the veal industry, they're going to stop eating dairy products, which is not at all how it worked out. It just kind of annoyed people and made people think that, like, oh my god, here comes the annoying vegan again. So don't be super pushy. You can talk about your views, but make sure that you're not pushing them on other people. Number 2, explain why you're doing this. Why are you going vegan? And explain it, like I said, in a non-pushy way. When I went vegan, I was having a lot of health issues, which I've talked about in other videos. So I just talked to people about how I was having these health issues, and I found that when I ate plant-based, I excluded dairy products from my diet and animal products in general, I felt a lot better, and I felt like I had better stamina, and also my digestive issues started to clear up. So when you explain those things to people, they tend to see eye to eye with you. If you're becoming an ethical vegan, my reason for becoming a vegetarian years ago was that I didn't feel like I could do the deed of killing an animal, and people react very positively. I've talked to people who say, well, I hunt all the time, what if I brought you venison? And I say no, because I did not kill that deer, and I would never kill that deer. And they say, oh, well, I can agree with that, because that makes sense. Like, if you wouldn't do it, then you wouldn't eat it. So come up with your own reason. Don't just copy someone's reason. Don't go on like another YouTuber's channel and say like, well, that sounds like a really compelling argument. Find your own reasons. because they will stick with you longer, and they'll also make you feel better about why you're doing this. Share meals with people. So for 4th of July, if you follow me on Instagram, I grilled up some zucchini, and instead of pushing it on my family and saying that you have to eat this zucchini, my parents made wings, I made zucchini, and when my dad was getting some stuff ready for the barbecue we went to, he tried the zucchini and thought it was delicious. So share food with people. It really helps. If you can't cook, I've talked to a couple people who can't cook, just share fruits and vegetables, and when you buy things, don't be so like, no, this is mine, I can't share with you. That turns people off. So definitely share with people. Share meals, go out to restaurants together. It's a great idea to help people open their eyes. Number 4, use reasonable space. I was terrible at this when I first became vegan, and I still struggle with it. So especially when you're doing high carb, like, this is how big this papaya is. That's my head. It's huge. So if I were to buy like 6 papayas and store them in my parents' house, they would probably be like, what are you doing? You're taking up all this room on a counter. So realize that, especially high carb vegans, your food takes up space. If you are sharing space with other people, you want to make sure that you are not invading into their space. So one suggestion I've heard people talk about is keeping, if they buy a box of bananas, keeping the bananas in their room or in a closet of theirs, or maybe you have some storage space you can use. Just don't keep everything in the kitchen if you're planning on buying bulk produce. Also, a good idea, especially if you're sharing a fridge with people who will have non-vegan items in their fridge, is to take and divvy up a shelf or a drawer that's for you. I suggest, if you are using a fridge that might have meat or dairy products in it, asking to use the top shelf, just because then you don't have to worry about anything dripping down onto your food. That's really not very appealing, and that would definitely cause me to get rid of some of my food. So realize that you should use reasonable space. So also, if you don't think you can use reasonable space in a fridge, think about getting maybe a mini fridge or a second fridge. I know some people who do that, and it works out perfectly, because then they don't even have to worry about sharing a fridge with someone else. And it can also help with the issue of foods touching each other, because I know if meat or dairy products touched any of my produce, I would probably be a little bit iffy as to whether I'd want to eat it. Number 5, make reasonable requests. So make requests that, like I said, with the fridge, or making requests that maybe you have certain containers or utensils that you do not want to touch meat. Make those reasonable requests with people. If these are your own items, if you purchase them, then these are all reasonable requests. If these are something that maybe your roommate purchased or your parents purchased, then it might be a little bit unreasonable for them. I know one of the things that we do is our grill has a large section to it and a smaller section. The small section has always been mine, so it's always been for vegan food only, and I really appreciate that. So when my dad bought this grill, I was like, oh, look at this cute tiny little grill on the end, and it was really sweet of him to let me use that as my own veggie grill, so to speak. So make those reasonable requests. If you were in that situation and somebody said, no, you can't do that, buying a small portable grill might be a good idea if you like to grill. I know I do, especially when it's summertime, so just keep that in mind. And number 6, make sure you are being patient. Remember how long it took you to transition to a vegan lifestyle, or maybe how many years you spent in the dark as an omnivore or non-vegan. Think about that in the long term, and then think about your family, your friends, your roommates, and how long it might take them to understand what you're doing. So just be patient with them, and if they don't completely transition to a vegan lifestyle, they will at least be understanding and respectful. I still get vegan jokes at dinner, but I just kind of brush it off, ignore it, and I enjoy my food. So that's it. If you have questions, I spent the first 6 months of my vegan journey living with my parents as an adult. I was 23 at the time. So if you have any questions on how to be vegan and live with your parents, that's something I can answer. Or dating a non-vegan, I might make a video on that in the future. My boyfriend has been very supportive, but he has not transitioned to a vegan lifestyle. So I know some people say that you shouldn't date someone who's not vegan, but for me, we're very compatible and it's worked out that way. So I will see you soon, and make sure to subscribe and leave comments below if you like this video, and give it a big thumbs up. See you soon. Bye.